Happy holiday season's greetings and what is up? This is Press X Start, Season 5, Episode 47. Press X Start Podcast is the audio and video podcast seeking to transform the the video game media landscape through an underserved and protected point of view. Restore justice for the underrepresented programmers, developers, and consumers. I am your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka Do You Know Who Deborah Wilson is? I think some people on the cast should know.
Yes.
But if you, yes, right. She.
Well, the question is, do you know Deborah Wilson before she started showing up in video games?
Actually,
Yes.
no, but
Oh,
apparently
yeah,
I.
know that.
Yeah, apparently I did. So
Yeah, she's on
here's
Mad
the thing.
TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, she's also famous because she got caught in one of the best Press X's Start memes happening now. If you haven't checked it out, if you watched the Video Game Awards while she was playing, or while she was doing her Amanda Walker?
Amanda Waller impersonation.
Waller.
And the
I was
the
close.
continual body shaming of Amanda Waller continues. That woman used to be a beautiful plus size woman, and then the CW made her skinny, and then everyone's followed suit. It's incorrigible. It's terrible.
Yes, if you happen to watch the Game Awards, you might have heard a voice in the crowd saying "Yes, ma'am" to her as she was talking her thing. That person, guys, was Marcus. My man, our man, Marcus, is actually, forever. What is it? Forever immortalized. Yes, in the whatever. Anyways, that's cool. Anyways, but she also did other things. I literally cherry picked some things because I looked at her rap sheet and it is like so long. So as you know, she is going to be in Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League as Amanda Waller. She was also in Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus.
Yeah.
She's also in Marvel's Avengers. Didn't know that, as Okoye. She was in Bugsnax as Shelda Smellywag. That's a name. And Cobb Hopper. That's also a name.
You forgot she was also in Jedi Fallen Order. Is that on your
Oh, no,
list?
I was about to get to that.
I like to
Yeah.
ignore her appearance in Jedi Fallen Order because
I liked her.
That's one of the worst character models I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh yeah, she did have a bug eyes. She did have bug eyes.
Oh my gosh. That was the thing. But this one surprised me. She was also Kit in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I had no idea. Yeah, I had no idea. I was like, wait, what? So yeah, props to her as she is continuously doing that thing. But that is me, and that is Deborah Wilson. How about you guys?
I am Sean MF Ross.
Ooh, what the MF stand for?
Why don't Santa come to the ghetto?
You got a point. No, dang it.
Also,
You got a point.
I wonder if heaven got a ghetto. But that's probably just the way it is.
That's the way it is.
Oh, we don't got running water up here. What is this? Who else is here?
Jordan, aka JX Spot, aka Spartan 187.
Oh, okay.
He must be from Baltimore, surely.
NWA team. Hell yeah.
Speaking of which, I just saw Jeff Hardy with somebody, and Jesus Christ.
A wrestler?
Yeah, like, I guess he's in AEW, but somebody on another Discord server that I'm on, like, posted a picture with him, like, side by side. I'm like, God damn, that's Jeff Hardy? But I remember when they first came into the WWE, like, in the late 90s, and it's just like...
Matt and Jeff Hardy,
my man looks old, yo.
Oh, I would imagine.
Jesus Christ. But anyway, moving on.
Last up.
Hey, you there in the hoodie.
Oh, yeah. It's Avery.
Nailed it. All right. That is who we are. And now it is time for the quick hits. All right. Number one, this comes from Kotaku. Jeremy Winslow. There we go. Original Splinter Cell being remade by Far Cry devs. Jordan, explain to me the Splinter and Cells.
Ubisoft can go fuck themselves all the way because I don't know how this is going to pan out. Sam Fisher is an old man. He's been integrated into the Siege franchise, and they killed my boy. They murdered my boy. So I don't know. I want them to remake this. I want them to be a new character and move from there. I don't need to see Sam Fisher, or they do like a remake thing to which is like a Cold War or some shit. But I don't know. Avery?
They've pretty much said this is a reboot. They're starting off at this is a reboot remake of Splinter Cell 1.
And will it have Sam Fisher in it? Because
Yes,
I will throw my
yes.
All right. Well,
it will have Sam Fisher in it.
Well, to the audience, when this is over, I'm throwing my computer monitor into my TV monitor. Because that is bullshit.
That's a lot of money. Just punch your couch or something.
I can't. You can't expect me to ignore what the last decade's been in regards to Sam Fisher. I used to love Sam Fisher. Fuck this.
Well, that's number one. Number two, this comes from Business Wire. Tencent acquires Turtle Rock Studios. Turtle Rock will become part of Tencent while retaining its independent operations out in Lake Forest, California. And its existing team will continue to run all studio operations led by co-founder Phil Robb and Chris Ashton. The acquisition will have no effect on Back 4 Blood, as it was published by Warner Brother Games.
No effect, space, now, in quotes. No effect, now. Come on now. You know Tencent's record. Fuck that.
So I actually, listening to the podcast and stuff that I listened to, someone made a very interesting statement about this in terms of like Tencent's possible future approach and like this kind of being a signal to what they're doing. As we know, Tencent owns like a lot of game studios and such, and they own a lot of studios in China. But China has been really hard pressed about video games and game development, so it's been really kind of hard for Tencent to grow in China. So what they have to do now is kind of move outside of that and start picking up more Western game studios. And it seems like this is kind of their play at that kind of strategy. So it's possible that we're going to see more of these acquisitions in the future as Tencent tries to, I don't know, rule the world. Like, what the hell? Like, at this point, like, you've bought enough studios. I don't know. We'll see what their grand plan is, and when they flip that switch and all of our Tencent PlayStation 6s become
Here's the thing.
Superbots or something.
As long as Tencent doesn't take a major stake in a publisher, they can buy all the studios that they want. In the short, it provides a lot of money and stability for independent studios. Like this is a Turtle Rock who used to work for Valve, and then Valve decided we're not going to make games anymore, and it's had to figure out a path going forward. So like this is a good deal for them in the now. In the long run, to Jordan's point, no idea what Tencent's going to do. They have a track record of doing stuff that's probably not for the best interest of the devs, but anything is possible. Like, all I'm saying is that until they decide to buy stake in one of the big three game platform holders, everything is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Until Tencent buys Nintendo.
You're crazy for thinking that would ever happen.
That'll never happen, my guy.
Hey. Hopefully it won't.
They'll go back to their Nankang days.
All right, number 3. This comes from Kotaku's Brian Ashcraft. Endwalker is so popular that Square Enix suspends Final Fantasy XIV sales. So
that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, this is.
Has that ever happened? Has something like that ever happened before?
Not to my recollection. At least.
What is this game doing that's different? Come on now, seriously.
It's just really good.
It's taking the framework of a Final Fantasy and telling it in an MMORPG. That's what it's doing.
Yeah,
because
it's very successful.
Final Fantasy 11's story was pretty good, convoluted but pretty good. I can imagine the improvements they did with 14 as far as cinematics and just overall
This the insane
Ease of access.
the insane thing about this 14 boom is that this is a game they had to remake. They released it didn't do well, and then they full on remade the game, re-released it, and now we're here, and it's shitting on every other MMO out there.
Yeah.
And on top of the game being great, it's dropping at the perfect time where people like in the MMO space they're leaving World of Warcraft and what's the other? There's the other MMO that's not hot. Right
New
now.
World.
Not New World.
New World's fine.
That.
There's pretty much no other MMOs other than Warcraft.
A lot of people fell off of New World though. They grinded it out, min-maxed, and just like ugh,
Yeah. But yeah, like it's just hitting at the perfect time where it's drawing a bunch of people. Like there was the free demo that was out for months. I think it was still out because they had to stop the demo too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've released a portion of the game which is the original 14 campaign, and then plus the first DLC expansion for it to get people
like in. you can play that game for free up until like level 60. So like you can fully like integrate yourself into that game to be like, okay, I've spent enough time with this. Let me just buy the thing full out. So they're just making such great plays, and they are so good with their community. That's just it's everyone wanting to see this win, and it's definitely winning to the point where Square Enix is like, hey, look, we can't do this. So
they couldn't expand their servers fast enough.
Yeah. So because of supply constraints, like they just couldn't do it. So they had to stop everything essentially. But
don't let your dreams become memes, everyone. To the Final Fantasy record.
All right, number 4. This comes from Eurogamer's Tom Phillips. Peter Molyneux's NFT game Legacy has already sold $50 million of land. So I need to take a break because like this blew my mind when I was listening to it or hearing about it. And essentially, this isn't even like a fully fledged like game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't. Yeah, you know what? I was gonna like sit and just like kind of trash on this thing. Good on him for being able to thrive in this world. He saw NFTs. People are pretty on NFTs right now, and he decided to capitalize that. The industry itself is capitalizing on NFTs in a way that don't know if it's going to be successful. Like Ubisoft is the forefront of doing this with their courts system or whatever.
Yeah.
But just to get back. Go ahead.
NFC solved the digital marketplace issue that video games have always had. In that,
So it's one of those things where like it feels bad. Kind of reminds me of Star Citizen, where that game was in early access for a very long time, yet it had a store where people were just throwing money at it, and they made a shit ton of money. And it's kind of like, this isn't even like a fully like this game could essentially fail, but people are still just wasting their money in this game. But yeah, that's that. I don't really have too much to say about that other than
we'll see where these NFTs go, because there's other NFT news that wasn't in here. Like Stalker was going to have NFTs in their game, and players pushed back, while Ubisoft wants to move forward with NFTs in their games, like Siege and shit like that. So, we'll see. They
said it's just the beginning.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Okay, blockchain bullshit.
Number 5. This comes from NPD. Best-selling video games for November 2021 data. So I wanted to bring this into the conversation because let me actually pull this up. The top 10 selling video games, retail and digital, for November 2021 was number 1, Call of Duty Vanguard. Number 2, Battlefield 2042. Number 3 is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. Number 4 is Forza Horizon 5. I think there's other games on here that's cool, but I really want to focus on Forza Horizon 5 because this game dropped in such a way that everyone was like really on it, and there was a lot of people who didn't play racers, but they were still like, oh, this game's a good game. This game's a good game. the game came out free on Game Pass. I was educated a little bit that it also there was like a early access where you can pay money for that.
A 4-day early access, so you can play it 4 days earlier if you pay like between $45 and $100.
Right. So it's amazing to me that even with early access, that I guess either so many people bought it in early access, or so many people just, even though they played it on Game Pass, they still bought the game to the point that it is number 4 in the charts. And that kind of feels like, well, damn, maybe Game Pass is, it could be successful in certain avenues, and that kind of data kind of pushed PlayStation to like, maybe we should think about like our little subscription thing.
You go first, Avery.
No, it's. I looked over. Like my thing is, I need the MPD data isn't transparent in that
That's true.
I don't know what separates 3 from 4 in terms of actual units sold. There's also the information that we got beforehand about the amount they made on pre-order sales, and I think without more accurate data in regards to other Xbox games, like it's hard to parse because like it's about other Xbox games in reference to Game Pass. I'm not ready to say that Game Pass is the reason it sold well. I'm saying the reason it sold well is the pre-order.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it this is its 5th iteration, and its consumer base was fairly strong going into it
Before, right?
So, I mean, like there is truth to Avery's point, to which we can only process so much data to say that it was one of the best-selling games. But there were articles during those 4 days where it was like during the pre-order phase. I was talking about there are hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of people that are getting this game mad early. I'm a huge Forza Horizon fan. Like, remember back in 2018, that was on my Game of the Year list near Spider-Man and all that. But I didn't fucking I was like, no, I'm not spending $4,500 to just play the shit 4 days early. I was tempted. I just waited for that shit to be on Game Pass. So, but having a game that's that successful on Game Pass kind of reiterates Phil Spencer saying like, yo, Game Pass is already sustainable. It's the games, the content within itself is driving the subscriptions too. Like it's the marriage of those two worlds, the quality of the stable of games you have as related to subscribers themselves. Like there's Forza Horizon within Game Pass essentially, if that makes sense. Like Game Pass is multiple expressions, and that's what's driving it.
Yeah. I found this to be very interesting. Like just kind of looking at everything on the face of it, it's like, wow, this game is selling a lot, but it's also freely available to a lot of people. Yet like it's still like high up on the charts. So it was cool to see, and good work on them. No, I got not good work on them. Good job for them.
Hey, Yakuza Kiwami is leaving Game Pass, and I am buying all that shit. I cannot be that far away from here right now. I'm going through too much.
All right, number 6. This comes from Bing Bong. No,
Bing Bong.
Fuck your life. The journalist, I'm gonna call him Mr. Gupita, because I'm not gonna try his first name, and I don't. Yeah, no, the first name.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna. Yeah. So CS:GO is the least stressful first-person shooter title, while Apex Legend is the most stressful one. As I am surrounded by a bunch of people who play Apex.
Get third party.
What do you guys think of this?
Think with CS:GO is a fucking 15 at this point, based on Counter-Strike. It's about over a 10-year-old game. There's nothing new in regards to what they can do for the game. I don't think there's any outside of building new maps, which I don't think they do often. I don't think there's any new elements that come into that game. So pretty much all every fight in that game is based on your individual skill and your understanding of the game, which doesn't change. Apex is a game which is a battle royale with the 57 other 57 other players other than you and your team on the field, all using, at this point, we're on 18 or 19 different legend and abilities and things you have to deal with, and we are constantly getting new maps at a cycle of at least one or two a year. So it's like there's
also,
so many.
If you die in Apex Legends, you have to go requeue. They have multiple rounds in Counter-Strike. If you lost this round, you got I don't remember how many it's the best of, but
it's best. I think it's best out of 26. It's some obscene number. I know it's more than Valorant.
Whoa, that's a lot.
Yeah, I think Valorant.
You guys won. Damn, I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, Apex doesn't stress me out. I mean, to me, but Drea says I'd be yelling and cussing. But I mean, I just like cussing.
You know what? Thank you for bringing that up, because Shireen said the exact same thing about me, and I'm like, no, like gaming is like me playing Gundam is like a stress reliever. Like I'm cussing and angry, whatever, but like I'm not
having fun.
I'm not. Yeah, exactly. I'm not like stressed out over it, but it's just like
I'm the exact opposite. Apex is just stress to me.
Oh, really?
It's pain.
My issue with Apex is that I think I am, from a game sense standpoint, better than I am mechanically. So it's one of those situations where, like, I have a clip that from a game that me and Sean played recently where, like, I can IGL group to a game win easy, but I don't have the mechanical.
What does IGL mean?
In game. Like
in game what?
If I can get the if I can read the zone, I can tell you where the game is going to end. I can tell you what position is probably the best to hold, and as long and I can, for the most part, get a team to that end game. So when me and Sean are playing and I don't troll, we can usually get to an end game because I'm like, I know where we can go. But then there are situations like I was playing Bloodhound and I decided, the last two teams are fighting and we have zone. I don't know. Let me just fucking rush into that team and get some kills. Just forgetting the fact I'm not mechanically the best Bloodhound in the world. And so
shoot me.
Sean dies. And I get knocked. And it's just our fucking teammate not coming, Gibraltar in the corner, just trying to survive. And I'm like, this is my fault. We lost this. And then somehow I get rezzed. And then I need to analyze the tape to see what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
But it was like my teammate's at 10 health and I'm fucking bloodhound with an alternator. I guess I'll just 1v3 this team and we somehow win.
Hilarious.
You
did what needed to be done to win. Congratulations.
Yeah. Apex is just stress to me because I know too much about that game to like Apex is a game where like I can definitively tell you if I died because I'm bad at the game, or if I died because there was an unseen element of the game that I just didn't account for.
Yeah. All right. Last up for the quick hits, number 7. This comes from GameIndustry.biz. Jeffrey, what's that last name? Because Jeffrey
Atkins?
Rousseau?
Rousseau? Okay. You say Atkins? Yeah, so Activision Blizzard releases 2021 representation data. So this is interesting. Like in our little Discord, we were kind of talking about this and how we don't normally see this kind of information put out to the public. But there is a quote in here. Okay. This comes from, I think this is from the Chief Operating Officer, Daniel Allegri. He says, I recognize that without being more transparent on important data, it can make it harder to keep us accountable for progress where needed. That is not my intent and this will change. As part of our resolve for gender transparency, we are sharing for the first time our current data on gender and diverse representation at AVK. So there's some numbers they threw out. There is women account for 24% of the workforce. Meanwhile, UEG, which is unrepresented ethnic groups, make up 36 of the publisher.
That's a new acronym.
Yeah, that I had to look that up because I was like, well, what is in that category? And apparently, it's just
it's one of those like
catch-all kind of things. Yeah. Yeah, they had numbers in there. What I thought was very interesting was that those numbers are for the general workforce, but in terms of the upper level management, where are those numbers? Looking for it. Okay. Blizzard shows that women make up 26% of entry level positions and 26% of its senior vice president or more, despite UEGs being 40% of the company's early career roles, but only making up 15% of the executive leaders. So obviously, there is a pretty big discrepancy between the workforce versus the leaders in Blizzard, at least in this example. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, that's great that you're showing these numbers to us, but really and truly, it's only gonna matter if you show these numbers to us in, I don't know, March or June, and these numbers are very
I
different.
mean, even then, like that's either it's creating new positions or removing people from old positions. I think
Yeah.
these numbers. Yeah, this is one of those things where, like, not in a couple months, but like, what's the end of the year optics next year of your company in comparison to this year? Because that one will show more organic turnover than a couple months when it's just like, all right,
That's
we open.
true.
Usually equity measures would be reviewed in a fiscal year time frame, for them to take hold, whether it be changing certain hiring practices. That does take time for that to be ingrained for any type of discernible impact. So yeah, you would review these equity measures at the end of their fiscal year, whichever that. But this looks like they're working on a calendar year type thing. So
Right.
yeah, this time next year.
Right.
This is a weird thing to correct.
A weird thing to correct? What do you mean?
Equity, like the numbers having equal numbers.
Well, it's not necessarily about equal numbers. It's like to the last thing that DJ said, like 40% of the company being of a certain demographic, but not in certain levels. Like there has to be some similarity. Like equal is not the wrong term, but it has to be proportionally similar, essentially.
Yeah.
Proportionally similar or outperforming. Just so I can put it.
I guess.
Right. So yeah, it's good on them for putting this data out, but we need to, in order for it to matter, we need to see some progress come next year. Well, that is it for the quick hits. Well, that has been our cast, y'all. Bang bang.
I'm leaving
this has been
I'm leaving this call. I'm leaving this call.
This has been another episode of Press X Start Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making this episode. Yo, in case you missed any of this, you can find all details and more at pressxtostarttv.com. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell, because when you do those three things, you a G.
Okay, so DJ, the explanation of how they describe Frey, that's exactly what you did when you thought of how do I make this sound black. So I need to talk to you about the authenticity of your writing right now.
We need real, authentic black people on Press X to start.
Well, since we're about to get to the holiday, I gotta let you guys know that this is all just food coloring.
Oh, so blackface.
Yeah.
Hey man, Rachel Dolezal ran so Amy Pascal could fly with that haircut.
All right, you guys, you gals, you peoples, you be safe, you enjoy the holidays, and you have a great time with your family, your friends, your game consoles, and you make sure you stick here and you watch some more stuff that we do, because that's the thing that you should do. We're gonna be doing we're gonna have a video out in between the Christmas and New Year's break, so you check that out. But take care. Wash your hands and be safe.
I'm gonna go watch The Witcher.
Ta-da-da-da-dee.